All right, cool. So we'll do a couple of things. Okay, so the MRR insights, do you guys leverage this much?
I have not yet with
Okay,
the whole transfer of all the things. I have not got to dig into this yet.
no worries. So this I'd recommend just you like having this either open or just visiting it from time to time. And the reason being is this is a read of every single contract, account, service, unit count, you name it. This is a replica of your auto task as of this month and anything that's getting built out of it. Okay. So the idea behind this is you've got roughly 1,400 line items here that are going to end up on invoices to your customers via AutoTask. And we want to try and verify the accuracy of as many of these as we possibly can before the customer gets them. Otherwise, they might ask questions about it.
Got it.
So then we think, okay, well, how do we verify the accuracy of each of these unit counts? And there's a couple of ways. One is obviously the way that it's getting used now in terms of vendor data getting loaded in for these various different suppliers and them all acting effectively as the source of truth. So if Data RMM says 15 for customer A, we accept that and it goes to 15 and away you go. So the not even the problem, like that's we've been building this obviously for a really long time, and that's been our way to help our clients go, whatever you're getting billed for, we want to make sure that's verified and you're not losing out in any shape or form, which has been good, which is what lots of people are going, yep, that's exactly what we need. What we've learned though over the last probably 3 to 4 years is just because RMM says 15 and something else that's device driven that should probably be 15 actually says 16 or 14 or 12 or some other number, we then started to learn that and our MSP, their clients were still asking some questions. You go, hey, why is this off by 1? Why is this off by 2? And it's normally a $1 or $2 thing that gets your end clients asking questions, and it's just a waste of time for everyone. Okay. I don't know if that's something that you've also experienced at all.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we got thinking is that there's a lot of dependencies and somewhat patterns between your clients here. Okay. So as just a very simple example, AB Floors solution. So I just filter on that. They've got these 7 unique services. When I actually look at the numbers here, that's a 3, that's a 3. And we're like, well, should these largely be in lockstep with one another? Like if there's 3 of them, should that be 3? And then you've got a 4 here and you're like, is that expected for this customer? Or should this be 3? Or should all of these be 4 potentially?
Right.
Okay. So the idea behind it is if you've got 1,400 lines that need to be verified, it's like, are we able to build some dependencies between almost groups of your services? Like I'm guessing these are more going to be device-based or user-based.
Yes.
Device, are they?
The cyber protection and endpoint would be device-based.
Got it. Cool. So if we were to go, okay, well, at a general level, the client, if they've got, maybe we'll say this one here is the driver. That's the one that we go, okay, well, if this is 3, this thing should also be 3, or at least let me know if they are no longer 3, and I can sort of dig into it and work out why that might be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep. So the thinking there would be, okay, well, if we trust that this is 3, we may not even need to reconcile this line item in order to invoice our customers. We do recommend doing it monthly or certainly periodically to make sure that this thing hasn't gone to 1 or 0 or 10, and more from a quality control exercise. But just to invoice out, can we actually just go, okay, well, let's make sure our process around onboarding, offboarding, this thing is bulletproof. And then anything that should be matched to that, we can just fly through and verify these things and get the bills out the door a little bit easier and quicker. Okay. So when we were designing this, it was like, okay, well, there seems to be device-driven logic that is required and also user-based logic as well. that seems to be fairly consistent. So inside configuration, we've added this new CloudOlive groupings, which we can then add something that we call device group. And like it's obviously free text, so you can do whatever you want there. But then we go, okay, let's look at, I can't remember the names of these things now. So we've got Cyber Protect there. There's that one. And then we've also got endpoint management there, which is our other one. So just by this super simple little change, we've now got 2 line items. So we've essentially said, hey, can you just read, CloudOlive, can you read these from Autotask and then just start adding some alerting for us? So we've got these 2 things here. What I'm going to say now is and go, okay, I need to pick something as a primary, and I'll use this one and go, okay, if this thing is 3, we want to just be alerted if this thing is not 3 across every client that you've got.
That's pretty sweet.
Cool, right?
Yeah.
Is there any others that you can think of? And the only reason I ask is, in order for it to display here, so another cool thing, actually, the more groups you have, we can now filter on this. So this will show all customers, all of these line items, and we'll see here, right, 3, 3, 7, 7, and then this one here is 2 and 1. So this being the driver, this being the secondary, once we sync with CRM, and obviously your database is quite large. I'm not sure how big it is now, actually, but it can take some time.
It's actually only been taking like 10 to 15 minutes since we moved to the new instance.
Oh, sweet. So 8 minutes, actually. That's good.
Yeah, it's been great.
Perfect. So what this is going to display here is it's going to go how many, based on the groupings and the logic that we've added now, where does a secondary not line up to the primary? And you're going to, similar to the other toggle, you get 62 or 15 or whatever lines are impacted by this logic. But as we come down here, this is going to go, hey, based on this for all climate, based on this group, they don't match, okay? So there's 1 for this and 2 for this. We're going to fill this number in and go, it should be number 1. It should be 1 based on that logic that you've just said. So in this instance, you're overbilling by $5. That's the calculation, and this will be filled in with data, and that will be filled in with data, and that will be summing whatever's in there. So that's the idea. So we can then go, okay, well, show me these errors, and then you can go, all good, or you can go, actually, I'm going to fix that from here and change that back to 1.
Is there a way for, if there is a discrepancy here, I know this links to Autotask, but I feel like this would need to be something we would need to get a support ticket entered for so that it's corrected on the technical side.
What was the question? Sorry.
Is there a way, is this only going to interact with contracts, or is there a way for there to be like submit a support ticket here for discrepancy in quantities?
This is just reading. So this is facilitating easier invoicing out to your clients. Okay, this does not solve almost a completely separate problem area. This is solving getting invoices out, customers not asking questions on it. Okay, what it doesn't do is ensure quality control against, hey, we've actually got 5 of these things. Why on earth haven't we been switching them off in the portal? That will be the task of, like, we can actually, I really wouldn't be surprised if we begin to cannibalize some of our use of the reconciliation module, meaning if you were to load in whatever drives this count and that's different to 1, it might actually just be, rather than fix that from there, it could be that you go, RMM's the driver for this, so actually this thing's probably wrong. I need to go in there and work out why it's different in the vendor portal.
Got it. Okay.
So no is the answer yet. But I would say use it. And if there's a sort of workflow that's required, then we can then we can, yeah, like we on our version 1, it's a pretty good version 1 actually, with the flexibility and sort of weird edge cases that we have catered to in the get-go. But like we like, comments aren't there, parsing, hiding isn't there. There's things that we need to translate from the other module that everyone's familiar with into here.
Yeah.
But would love to just get it out in the wild, and then everyone tell us, hey, this is a bit of a headache for us. Can you automate this piece of it? And we'll certainly go away and do it.
Is there a way to export this list?
No, same thing. Not yet.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I do with the user count stuff, like when you're looking at your 365 licensing, there are times where there are shared mailboxes where you don't necessarily get billed for licensing, but they do still have other security features on them. So this would kind of flag all of those accounts that are different, even though they're technically right because of shared mailboxes.
Correct.
Okay.
So whether it's used from a, hey, I'm going to update it and accept it and move it into billing, cool, option 1, or the other should be at the 200 plus customers you've got, you'll be able to index down and immediately see, here are the ones that are a little bit different. Oh, I didn't realize that they were different. Oh yeah, we know that one's different. It will just give you that data, like accurate as of today, or the last sync with Autotask effectively.
Got it.
Yeah.
It seems pretty easy to get this set up and to
It
be
is,
able
yeah,
to
it's
just
super
see all
simple,
the things.
super simple. And just while I've got you as well, our now that we've got the groupings done, or like very, very close to being done anyway, the thing that we will be trying to help and automate next is the primary drivers of the groupings. So, because if we can give you that accurate, automatic, no upload required, then like probably 70% of your revenue can nearly be automated with very little oversight required. And so we've built, you can see this here. So this is our dev environment. We've built a integration directly into Partner Center. So anything user-based will be the first one that we try and help solve. So as an example here, our client PosiWise has these E3s, and they've got available 3. So it's an NCE probably. They've only got 2 people actually assigned to this, and these are the names of them. So there's 2 data points that we do stuff with here. One is the 3, likely just going to go to a one-to-one relationship and build out. However, that 2 unit count is probably what's going to drive the grouping for anything user-based, because that's what the customer knows. They've got 2 active people on their like 2 active humans at their site. So this is what we'll try. This is what we're working on now that grouping's been released. So ideally we can, yeah, certainly anything user-based, this number 2 with the email addresses is super useful information. Hopefully just going to reduce even more questions back from customers.
Yeah, I love that this has like the unassigned license count.
Yep.
On it and everything, because that is something, I mean, if you just get a bill, they could be getting billed for 40,
Correct.
but they have to be sitting there. And on the finance side, we're not aware of that.
Correct. Yeah, totally. And also with NCE, right? One of the workflows we want to be able to help with is if something's ordered in the last 7 days, but there's something that's unassigned, like we need to let you know that that's a potential, and you can go, yeah, cool. Or let's drill into, or let's cancel that quickly and assign something that we've already got.
So this is something that's currently in the works.
Yeah, totally. Like this is we really wanted to release this late last year, but it was a little more complicated than we initially thought. Like this whole thing is NC Easy. That's how we've got the domain like 4 years ago we bought it, but we're about probably 8 months ago we started integrating in with Microsoft to try and help with a lot of the renewals that were happening sort of Feb, March, or kind of like right now, but Jan, Feb, March this year. Just so you can see, oh, the expiration's coming now, unassigned. Okay, here's my users. Let's email them. Do they still need all of these licenses? Like it was there. The goal initially, or the goal is to help with the renewals around NCE in particular. The problem became Microsoft just doesn't give the expiration date and the commitment term via the API currently. Supposedly they're going to give that. So we were just okay, let's just park it. Let's get the groupings out. Let's get the split capability that we've been working on for some time out the door. That's all done now. Now what we want to do is ensure the accuracy of the unit counts, who's assigned to what, and then we can feed that into these groupings. Like we can now begin feeding these into your user base primaries and or into Microsoft and or into into your, not even into Autotask, but effectively taking away the need to upload your Microsoft data unless you want to do that. Still, we should be at least be able to go, oh, by the way, these are different to what's in Partner Center, and that should match the invoice pretty quickly, pretty closely. It won't solve cost, so we'll still be able to need the invoice from the distributor in order to do that. Like fingers crossed we can get this out April time, maybe. It's getting worked on as we speak right now.
Because I know too of the bigger headache issues with user-based billing is like your shared mailboxes and things that we aren't aware of, and it can really make your accounts look crazy.
Yep.
On the finance side, unless we just start digging into, okay, someone send me their 365 list or their shared mailboxes. There's just not a lot of visibility we have on the finance side to really see if these counts are where they need to be for the security ads that the users have.
Precisely. Yep. So this like what we'll definitely ship, we know we need to do this, is we need to be able to give you the tools to be able to tag something as they're buying this user direct, so you shouldn't be billing for this. Which again, if a client of yours buys stuff and you sell them stuff of Microsoft, it's all just one big number in Partner Center. There's no way to differentiate anything. The other thing is if it's a boardroom you'll be able to toggle something off and go, don't include in that count. But still list it. Let them know that it's there, but we don't bill for that because of whatever reason you choose not to bill for that. Both of that capability will need to be shipped in version 1 of this.
That will be nice.
Yeah. So case by case, you'll be able to switch on or switch off, and you will be in control of it. So we obviously need to still work out the experience of that, because if you've got 200 names, it might be a little bit tricky, but that's the idea. We know that we need to solve that workflow in iteration 1 of this thing.
Would that be kind of like where you have it now, where you can pass it for the current cycle or hide it indefinitely?
Correct. Yeah. Something very similar to that. And then because of the numbers here, like you might have 1,000+ users. There needs to be, maybe in here or something, there needs to be some other way, like a new tab or something. There needs to be some way to see what you've actually done across the board, but at a customer level. That's still to be finalized. But yeah, there'll be a toggle here of some description to go, do not bill. And it could be because they buy direct, or do not bill because it's your internal license or something.
Got it. No, that will be great.
Yeah. And then that data, call it, even if we got 2 assigned, but this one shouldn't be assigned, we toggle one of these off. That then gives us a number 1. That number 1 can then be fed into drive the user count of this grouping that we've got. Just as an example, like we now want to move into this grouped quantity, like this thing here. We want to automate as much of this as possible. So anything user-based, we should be able to automate from Microsoft, typically. That's what everybody sort of relies on. And then a lot of the user-based stuff can then be just bridged off of this. This will hopefully be there now. Yeah, cool. So this looks like there's $370 uplift that's available. So if I go per device, now over here, you see this here, we're buying 2. The recommendation would be 1 based on that being the primary. You should remove $5. Over here, the other way around, you should add $5. This one here should be 207 based on that. You're only selling 207. So out of the $370 of uplift that's there, that's probably one of the bigger ones. And then that one's much different. So there must be a few that are under there. Yeah, there. So that's a sum of up and down. So netting out this 370, but we might need to split them out actually so you can see one of each. But anyway, that's the way that it works.
Got it. This is nice. And it's an easy way to, because right now if me or Candace on the team are reconciling and we're making notes of, hey, these don't match, somebody needs to go fix them. This is a really easy way to just pull all that information together.
Correct, yeah. And any number of groups that you want. It's smart enough to cater to if you've got like user-based stuff will often be business premium and or above E1, E3. You might have different services for monthly commit versus annual commit that one customer can have multiple of. So within here, actually, I've got one set up here. You are able to add multiple primaries together, meaning if a customer has that and that, we're going to sum the unit counts of those both line items together, and that's going to become the primary, which then secondaries fall off of.
Nice.
Yeah. So like looking at legit customer data now, there's oftentimes 8 different line items, not for profit, that are all primaries. And then there might be 1 or 2 other services that are secondaries, but full well knowing that a client's likely only going to have 1 or 2 of the 8 potential primaries. But if they do have 2, we're going to sum them together.
Got it. And this will feed into, like with the device group that you just set up, it's going to want you to plus or minus the not primary service.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And if
Correct.
we had something that was a bundle, that should be a list of services, would we be able to make the bundle the primary?
You bet. You can make whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. The primary, however you reconcile and make sure the primary is accurate, be that you've got another third-party sync, be that it's manual, be that you use CloudOlive, doesn't matter to us. You just want to trust that the primary driver per group is accurate. And then we're reading the latest information here. Then you can just go to town and fix all the secondaries and or look at the secondaries and go, just why are they different?
Got it. This is nice.
Yeah, thanks. We're pretty excited by it. Like the ease of setting it up as well compared to main module, a lot more involved. But you can see the value is pretty imminent with what we can find.
It is. And I think it looks like Kaseya has finally started billing back on the same time that they were doing pre-merger. Because I had told Robert, I was like, don't set up Kaseya in the reconciliation panel right now because we don't get the bill till like halfway through the month.
Yeah.
So I have to get him to get that set back up for us in April. So there'll be all that mapping and things to do. But now that the dust has finally settled with the new instance, and now that Kaseya's billing is getting back on track, I would like to utilize this platform
Perfect. Yeah.
more than what I've
We've
been doing.
yeah, perfect. Just send that across. We've got some very robust templates already built, having catered to Kaseya many times over, and all their changes and their weird layouts and whatever. We've got it very well fleshed out now. So it'll be a
I
quick.
mean, their layouts still aren't exactly 100%, but it's gotten a lot better than it was initially.
At least to track stuff. At least if it is off, being able to just know, oh, yeah, this is how much off it is, and leave yourself notes and whatever else. But for sure, whenever you're ready, just send it over. We'll get it in.
Okay. Yeah, because I do want to get that started up next month because we actually got it, I think, on the 5th this month, like halfway through the day, which is the earliest we've got it since I think last year sometime.
That's good. That's
So I
good.
was like, well, we're moving up in the world. We're getting it back on time again. So, and because that's the one I would have to go into the data panel and manually go to like each section and just like print a PDF of the page. So we would have the quantities for billing.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of fixed now.
Oh, good. Good.
I will send you, if that's okay, I can send you the Kaseya
Yeah, the
spreadsheet
last one, please. Yeah, we'll get that in.
so we can get that started again in April. Because I
Yeah,
think
cool.
that's been like the biggest thing we've been manually reconciling recently.
Okay. Well, send us even send us last month's, the one you've got recently a week ago, and like all the codes will be 99% the same. So we can at least get it in. So when April rolls around, it's just bringing like um, importing the data.
I'll just need to remap everything, right?
We do have if we know the services. So if we know the service name inside of AT that these things should map to, what's your Datto SaaS stuff?
It's Cloud Protect.
Cloud Protect. So there's two unique services with that name. What are they? So majority of them are here, right? Regardless of
Mhm.
regardless of anything. So I can see that. And then you've got okay, so then you've got the altos there. So like we've got a way through the template to automatically map. If we know the customer name and we know the service, providing there's no duplicate services of the same name in Autotask, it will automatically map now.
Okay. And I can even send a little breakdown with the Excel of what the services are in Autotask.
Yeah, perfect. If you give us that, if the company names are pretty accurate to one another, that automatically maps now anyway.
Okay.
I'll just show you where that is, just so you know what we do with that. So let me just download this thing here. So that there, no, that's the account mapping one, and that's the service mapping there. So the way the system now looks at this thing, if the company name, like there's a formula there, right, that looks at account mapping, that looks at that and goes, okay, well, if that's in the vendor file and that's in Autotask, it just populates there, and then it's going to, if there's a perfect match, it will automatically map it. And same goes for service. So there's going to be a service name there from the vendor. We've just keyed this in. And then that one would then go to a specific service name in Autotask. And providing, as I said, there's no duplicate there, it just automatically maps and just works.
Nice. I did notice because we've done quite a few migrations recently, and then with the new instance, but we moved stuff from Synex to Pax8. And I've noticed even with setting up stuff again in January that it recognized names and even contracts. Like it was auto-populating some of the stuff. And I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, cool. That will have been that these things here will have been set up and from a time ago, and it would have been 100% driven from that column and that column in the
Got
import.
it.
So if these are blank or don't exist, which historically were like when we initially started talking, we didn't have that capability at all. And then we added it a while ago now. But even some of the like this is an older template than what we now have based on what we've learned and what we've changed and blah blah blah. But the concept here is that if we know the account name based on whatever's in the vendor file and we know the service name, we're going to try and automatically map it, and providing they're not inactive or duplicated or something that even a human would need to eyeball. But that's in there now. So that's what we'll do with the Kaseya stuff when it comes down.
Got it. No, this platform is awesome. It does save us quite a bit of time every month.
Yeah, hopefully this thing here is materially valuable to you immediately as well.
Yes, I think even just reviewing, just getting like endpoint and cyber protection dialed in, and then I'll probably get with Robert on some other groupings that he would want to review as well. I do think this will help like any like discrepancies and red flags and things like that that we need to check into. This will make that a lot easier.
Yeah, 100%. And just so you know, if this takes you to the contract within Autotask, and that takes you to the edit service, like where you change the unit count or the cost and sell and stuff at that service level in AT.
Okay.
Okay. And then everything you see here is then dynamic. So if I go, what money are we making out of our device stuff? Okay, it's about 30 grand. Cool. What's our margin? Okay, cool. Everything you do is then dynamic. So if I then type in a specific customer on top of it, okay, cool. For device grouping for this customer, we're making this. It's very, very quick and dynamic to go out of auto task and sort of emphasize that it's got it doesn't recognize anything to do with the vendor data coming in. It's purely a replica of your auto task system, this view here.
Got it. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you if it's reading it from the bill or if it's reading it from AutoTask.
No, so this is just AutoTask. You can use this without any link with the vendor data at all, but how do you then verify the accuracy of the certain line items in here? People are doing it now. So we've just given a view that, like when I was working at AutoTask, I always said they should build this, and then they didn't. So we did it a few years ago.
I like that. And it's been a little tricky where we've had some of the billing on Cinex and some of the stuff on Pax8 with the same service. So, and the price is different. So I've had to like kind of manually update some stuff in AutoTask to be reflective of that.
Yeah, that's not easy. And you're not alone with that either, but hopefully it's not forever. Anyway, it shouldn't be too much longer once it's all across.
It's just that NCE waiting on that time to get here so we can move it.
Yeah, NCE, it'll be there. It'll be there. When it's time actually, or when we're getting a little bit closer, we'll be wanting to use or work with a handful of our clients to be able to bring in their data and work with them to finesse it exactly how they need it. So if you're open to it, I'll maybe get in touch when we're a little bit further along and looking for a handful more beta users to sort of iron out the remaining kinks. We've got 5 people that we're working with now, and then that's sort of enough to just, can we get all the data in? Is it accurate? Is it? So I'll let you know if that's something that you and Robert want to be involved with in the next couple of months.
Yeah, definitely let me know. Well, this is great. I appreciate this because I was trying to go in and I was like, I can't figure this out. I just need to get on the phone with that.
Yeah, thanks for booking in. Thanks for booking in. And just if you want to do another session once you've got it up and running, obviously just book straight in. Please do keep notes of stuff that you don't like or stuff that you wish it could give you. And in the next iteration, we'll just pull them all together and work out what we can do pretty quickly for everyone.
Okay, that'd be great.
All right. But yeah, cool. Let's see how it goes for you. But yeah, feedback's been pretty good so far. So we're
yeah,
happy.
I like this.
We're happy,
especially once I can dig into it a little bit and start doing some other little groups and things. I think this would be good.
Yeah, cool. Just to reiterate, if you make any change here, any change at all, change the primary, edit something, add something new, we do require a full sync to be conducted in order for that to then take effect.
Okay.
But yeah, 8 minutes is much better than an hour 25, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get this started and then go get 10 other things done that I need to get done while I was talking to it.
Yeah.
The first time it popped up and it's like 3 minutes, and I was like, no, there's no way. It's not reading something.
It will be mainly the database, but there's been a lot of optimization of the PSA syncs in this release in particular, but also in the release before. But I would think you culling a lot of the contracts and services will be the main driver of that increased speed.
Yeah, that's been very nice. Yeah. Like I actually could just sit here and wait a minute and it'll be done and I can just finish what I started.
Yep. No, much better.
It's been great.
Perfect.
Well, I will get Kaseya Excel over to you with the notes on the services, and I'll definitely keep notes of like any little thing that pops up that I just want to make you aware about.
The other, just one other thing as well, if you can, whatever portal you go into to retrieve each of the vendor files, just as an FYI, we've got, you can store that information here. Okay. So if I go www.pax8, www.pax8.com/invoices or whatever it is. Okay. By storing it there at a vendor level, it then it will just store this here. So then I can just click there and it will take you directly into the page that you will typically get that file from. So as we add these in, I'd recommend using that, and it's just trying to centralize it a little bit more, bring it in a little bit closer so it's all in one place.
No, that's nice.
Yeah. Because we get that that's a clunky part of the entire process. So this is just a small win that hopefully just stops people having to think, where do I get that from?
Most of the time I just use whatever they email to us.
Okay.
Because most all of them, well, the SAS protection I had to edit the sheet since I wasn't getting Kaseya in time to get this to still reconcile. But most of this I either get an email or it's a quick panel pull.
Okay. Let's just see what the ID is. Yeah, cool. Yeah, perfect. So these will automatically map. Everything SaaS related will automatically find a home because the ID in Kaseya. So what we'll do is when we load this in, we're just going to load the new Kaseya file into Datto SaaS. It's going to go, oh, I know that ID, and automatically find a home. And then what will happen is I'll just literally edit the vendor name here and call that Kaseya, and then it's automatically mapped. So every SaaS you've got here, providing the IDs are the same, which I assume they are, they will automatically just map the way that it is now the second we upload it.
Oh, nice. That will be nice.
Yeah. BCDR might be a little bit different, but if we know the codes, the services in AT, then that will at least find majority of them anyway, I would have thought.
Yeah. No, that's nice.
Yeah.
It may not be that much mapping I have to do.
No, not at all. I think if you give us that, or certainly the 116, I don't know what these guys are here, but the 116 will automatically map for sure.
Okay. That'd be nice.
If the codes are the same, they're also just going to auto hide as well. Anything in behind here. Yeah, all of these things will stay auto hidden as well.
And I do have with some of these, they are bundled clients, so they don't get individually billed. So that's why I have these hidden.
Okay. The other option would be to have a line item there just with a zero cell, because that cost likely is not attributed to that end client in AT currently.
Got it.
Optional.
Even if it's a service bundle?
Yeah, it's never going to be accurate. It's the service. Do you use actual service bundles, or do you have a service that you just give a name that looks like a bundle?
It's an actual bundle.
An actual bundle, yeah. The downside of an actual bundle in Autotask is if the driver of that is actually a different service and they've got 150, that infers that everything's 150 versus this thing's actually 144.
Right.
It just assumes, and it always assumes, even though there's multiple different Datto SaaS products, retention, different cost, whatever way the wind blows, Datto might charge you something different. So that bundle is quite simple in the fact that it assumes same number. It also assumes the same exact cost and service every single time with zero flexibility.
And with this only reading from Autotask, there would be no way to do the grouping based upon vendor bill versus Autotask quantity.
Say that once more, sorry.
If you wanted to do a grouping to see if your bundle, like if I'm billing, like you just said, 150 from Autotask, but there's only 144 SaaS protection, there's no way for me to do a grouping of that since this isn't an individual service in Autotask.
Well, not particularly, but we don't read Autotask service bundles, period. We don't, like, even if you looked at the contract that it exists on it, we can see the contract shelves, but there's no way to select that group, that bundle in Autotask. If that was a service and not an actual bundle, then you could absolutely just map that to that and see from a quality control exercise, is this different to that? You could totally do that. And we've got loads of clients that do that. They hide it. They leave a note to go part of a bundle. Don't update. It's read only from this view. But we don't read service bundles in Autotask at all.
Okay.
So yeah, if it was in theory an actual, like just a service that you give the exact same name to, then we would be able to do exactly what you're referring to. And again, they would stay hidden and you would go, okay, I'll leave myself a note, bundle. we don't edit it from here, but we do want to track and understand why this is lower or higher. You would then see that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was thinking there was some kind of release where you guys were doing bundles, like the service bundles.
No, we made that call very early on. It was just always when I was at AT, it was always just seen as a like a bit of a problem area based on that limitation. Like you're never going to get accurate reporting out of using service bundles because these accounts are what they will always be different, especially if you've got some form of user base and device base that's in the same thing. It's just never going to be the same, period.
Right.
So from that side, should we have done it? I actually don't know. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that they may be stopping service bundles at some point in the future. Like all implementation managers at AT just said, just tread carefully around them, know the limitations. They're going to work well if you've got something and then like an internal service, which will always map to that. And there's no issues. Like that's a good fit for it. But when there's multiple disparate vendors going to the same place, it's you can't reconcile it and have it be perfectly balanced. It just will never ever work like that at scale.
Right. No, and I get that too, because at this point, if we have we have a handful of clients now that are bundled and we have it set up as a bundled service, but to really go in and just say, okay, it's not just based upon their email license count. I need to see, do we have enough SaaS protection on? Do we have enough iron scales? And like, it's a very manual process for that.
Yeah. So that's where breaking them out into and giving them a zero sell, but having the accurate unit cost, that will give you that. And then again, in the new view that we've just built from a quality control exercise, you might not ever update the counts, but it will certainly very quickly show what's different across all customers. And then certainly from a security standpoint, if something's lower than the number of humans and you verified the human count through mailboxes or however you do it, that's a potential issue that you don't really want to have the customer figure out type of thing, or an actual security breach happen that would have been saved with the right tech in place.
Right. No, and that makes sense too.
Yeah. But yeah, we don't have anything on the horizon to deal with Autotask service bundles pretty much by design right now. And we haven't had many users go, put it in. Put it in.
I mean, I can't blame you because I can see where that could just be a huge headache.
Yeah. There's also, just looking at this here, there's something not reading right on the cost here. Like I would think that times by that would not be $3.30. But when the new one comes down, it's almost like these are differently ordered. See that?
Yeah.
Costs don't marry up properly. So I don't know what that is, but we can when the new Kaseya one comes down, we will get all of that right. We'll make sure that all makes sense.
Okay. Yes, I will definitely get that over to you.
Cool.
Tomorrow.
I'm just looking at, I would my assumption would be that the column counts, like, I don't know, maybe they started at 16 instead of 1, and it's just run down, and it's not like, it's clear the calculations aren't doing the right thing. But that's all good. We'll fix that.
Perfect. Yeah, I may start over the next couple of months, hit you up a little more as I dig in a little more to this to try to utilize everything that is here.
Yep. Perfect.
Well, thank you so much. I know Robert will be excited about this.
No. Thanks for booking in again. And yeah, just sing out if anything sort of comes to mind, or you wish that there was a thing in there that would make your life a bit easier. We're very open to hearing what we can do to help just solve other problems.
Awesome. I will definitely do that.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Well, good. Speak soon, all right? Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too. Bye.